The devil returns. Billy has an accident. And Dr. Daddy Issues goes full-on Electrocomplex on this week's Y&R After Show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Of course, it is that sound, and it is week 3 of the Restless wrap-up, the long-anticipated and gladly here Restless wrap-up. And of course, I'm your host, Lacretia Lyon, and with me to my left is...
Alexander Rodriguez.
And where can they find you, Alexander?
Instagram, Twitter, On the Rocks On Air, and OnTheRocksRadioshow.com.
And how about you, Kiera?
Kiera Giavanni. You can find me on all social media at Kiera Giavanni.
And of course, guys, you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one. But let's get started here. One of my favorite actors has returned again. Ray Wise as Ian Ward. So I'm super excited because I love this character. He's just the right amount of creep, and you know, he was the devil in Reaper. What do you guys think of
him as an actor getting that, like, you are the right level of creep.
Yeah.
But he loves acting.
Twin Peaks, man.
He has something like we just call, he is delicious. Like, he's delicious in his movements and everything.
I just love that Ian brought out that bad boy in Adam again, because that's been missing.
Yeah, I will say, like, I'm really glad that Adam is getting his bad boy streak back on. And then, because to me, it's like Ian could be kind of involved. Maybe not Chloe. Yeah, because I was kind of surprised that he came back in. I was like, now we sort of had a mystery. Because we're thinking Victor might be innocent in the framing now. We've got Ian and possibly Chloe coming in.
I don't think he's completely innocent.
I don't think so either. And I love how Ian was so subtle. He's like, hey, Victor, let me clean your table. Are you doing this? Just out of the blue.
That's how Ian is. He's just, you know, again, the right amount of creep.
And he looked good in those prison blues.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and you know, it's like Victor had his prison blues buttoned up today because he's like, oh, crap, now I got competition in the jail.
Oh, and then when he brings up Nikki from the past, he's like, oh, and I slept with Nikki. I hate that. He absolutely creeps me out.
Yeah, Ian Ward, you know, is the cult leader. That's such a good storyline to bring up. And then, you know, he thought he was Dylan's father for a long time because he slept with Nikki. And, you know, it's gross, but it happened.
No, okay, but in terms of the two villains, like, he is such a different type of villain than Victor Newman, but basically they come from the same crappy, like, I will kill you place. So I think that's going to be such a fun dynamic that we get to see between the two men. And I'll be honest, I saw Victor have a little bit more spark this week. Like, oh, God, like, okay, I got to get in it now. I'm in it to win it because he's got some competition.
Well, yeah, he's got spark because Dr. Daddy Issues.
How bad is it that you have sex with somebody and they have to take a leave of absence? Like, is that how bad you are in bed?
They don't have much to play with.
Yeah. You know, they're in prison, you know, in the infirmary. I mean, I don't know how, like, you know, how the logistics worked out in that. I mean, it's a hospital bed. And
she locked the door.
Yeah.
I put Dr. Daddy needs to work on her striptease. Like, maybe you ladies can I give her... She was like, look at him!
Yeah. She was just so not sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing against the actress, but yeah, that scene was gross. I'm sorry. But it's because he's old. He's old enough to be your dad. You see him as your father figure. There's similarities, and you keep talking about it. Like, maybe if you just thought about it later after you had sex with him and left, that would be different. It's like, oh crap, he's really like my dad. But no, the fact that she just keeps bringing it up.
Whoa.
That face.
But okay, but like as a soap opera star, like when do the writers decide, okay, somebody has passed that threshold? Because Victor Newman used to be like, he was the Mac Daddy of that set. I got to meet him when I was a little kid. He kissed my mom's hand, and she literally wouldn't wash her hands for 2 days because he was it. But like, when do you get to that point?
I think he'll decide that.
So you say, okay.
Right now, he's having fun.
Yeah.
Well, we have like Sean Connery is still like, you know, popping out kids here or there.
Yeah.
And like I said before, men, they don't stop producing till they're about 100. So
yeah, so like
keep going.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing is we may have a Dr. Daddy Issues pregnancy.
A little love child, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh, and I love Kimberly Howard actually corrected me. Ian knew he wasn't Dylan's father because he can't have kids. So like,
he was sterile.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah. But yeah, like that's why I think we'll bring it back to Ian since we're talking that subject is just gross at this point. But yeah, maybe Ian and Victor are working together in a way with Adam, because since you said that Victor might not be completely innocent. Yeah,
and Ian was like, oh, that hot doctor. And I was like, ooh, threesome. A weird threesome on our hands.
But I think she'd be down for it.
Yeah,
she would. She's like,
she's
job
got
security
issues.
I love how her home was on speed dial, by the way. Like, she's calling home all the time to, like, I don't know. That was hot.
How's the hair been for you?
She was a little bit more brushed, and I think because they're trying to sex her up because, and all the other shows that she's been on, she's really played, like, the bitchy villain.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to stop being naive when she gets burned by Victor, and I think she's going to be a contender for us in the future.
Maybe her and Nikki will link up.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Because to me, it's like, I really like the actress. And this stuff is gross to me, but I want to see her turn on Victor, too. That'll be more fun.
Yeah.
Because we know this is not going to end well. It never does with Victor. Yeah.
And we just know Victor's going to come out on top. So it's fun to see them all toy with him, but he's going to figure it out.
And I love the romantic dinner. They were at the tray, but I'm like, there's more food in the jail than there is in all of Genoa City. There was like an orange and some cheese and all that. And I was like,
they don't have that at the athletic club.
No, exactly. Like water or coffee, that's all we have. And maybe a vodka martini.
No, Jill had a Bloody Mary.
Oh, that's right. So that's her girl. I love she's like, I'll be at the bar. I'm like, yes. Yes.
Oh, the bar. It's just so fun. I guess let's get on to the next big storyline since we're done talking about the gross sex scene.
I didn't have to watch it, like, fully,
Yeah, no, at least they didn't show it. Like, but Billy's accident, they did show, like, the aftermath. I mean, as we said, it was a little cheesy, the bike laying there, and it looked classic. I'm like...
I felt so bad for him, though.
Yeah.
He was helpless.
I know, poor Billy, and I can't believe Phyllis ran off and left him.
What?
And, like,
BITCH.
She called 911, but she just ran off, and I'm like, Phyllis, no.
She's got to save herself. I feel you, Phyllis.
And you know how, like, I'm like I'm looking at fashion. In my mind, I was like, okay, whoever died, I don't care. But no, I mean, I do care, but I'm joking. But I'm like, where did that helmet and extra leather jacket go? That's all I could think about.
She had to ditch that quick. And then Billy's like, those helmets aren't cheap. I mean, I get
and they're
he's
big.
a millionaire.
Remember, they're going to the space shuttle.
And that leather jacket, I'm sure it was like real leather. I mean, God, Phyllis.
Okay, so my question is, I mean, it's really heartless of her to really just leave like that. Is she the one that called the ambulance, do you think?
Yes,
she did.
Okay. So then did she have to Uber back to the club to pick up her car to go back home to get washed up and combed?
Yeah, that was my thing, because she didn't show any signs of being in an accident.
Except that bruise that that we're going to find out in the bedroom later.
Right.
Jack's going to be like,
it's
you and me against the world, Red. And black and blue.
That was a great Jack impersonation.
And then when she confronted Bethany...
Yeah, I liked that, because she's like, no, you're going to do this. Yeah.
No, but then Bethany, she's not a bimbo. She was a critical thinker. She was like, no, you're the woman that Billy's been in love with this whole time, and called her out.
She's the only one that's putting two and two together. And the whole thing is like, girl, you've been at the bar for 2 days, and she's already figuring it out.
Yeah, Bethany is smart, and that's why I was like, she's up to something, because there's no way this girl is just a waitress. Because, she's not stupid. She's a little naive when it comes to Billy, but putting that together, I was like,
but the
not
10,000, that might shut her up.
Exactly.
I thought she was going to say, well, F you. She was intrigued by that. She was like, okay, that'll pay for
the things
these.
I can do with that.
Yes. Buy some food. Oh, you guys, I just have a really quick funny thing. You know how we laugh about that nobody pays the bill?
Yeah.
So I'm always paying attention to small details. During the Natalie and Kevin scene, the woman behind paid with cash and gave it to the waiter. Boom.
See, they're listening.
They're listening. Thank you.
But I'm really liking Bethany, because I like Rochelle Strauss, because she was a really great Amanda Dillon on All My Children, and it's nice to see, her boyfriend is Justin Hartley, who plays Adam, and Melissa Claire Egan, who's Chelsea, is her friend. I'm really hoping to see them in scenes together, but putting her in this whole Billy-Phyllis triangle is, great, because we already have Jack involved, so I guess it's like a quadrangle, or in Victoria, like, how many is that? Like, do they have like
it's
a
Genoa City. We know.
Yeah, it was like everybody's together.
It's like a Greek orgy.
But it's like, okay, this is interesting, because they didn't just cop out and be like, we're going to throw her with Chelsea and Adam, because it doesn't make sense storyline-wise. But, I'm just curious to see where they're going with their character, because she seems smart, and I like that. Yeah.
What I like about the women in the show is that, yes, they can come across like bitchy and aggressive, like Jill Abbott, but each woman has their own soft spot where they're like, where we get to see them actually feel. And what I liked about Billy's scene when he was in the hospital bed and he's like, "It's a day to." I wrote the quote down, but it was a line, and then he actually like teared up. It was a really good scene for him.
I know, but all of the women are kind of getting a little too soft, I would have to say, except for Jill. Jill came in fiery, but Victoria and Abby, these soft spots.
Yeah, they're getting a little too softy. Yeah, and that's one thing I love about Phyllis is Phyllis had kind of softened up a little too much, but now that they brought Billy into her orbit, he keeps that fire.
Right.
And that's what I like. That's why I kind of like them together. As much as I like Jack and don't want to see him get hurt, it's just this brings back the Phyllis that we know.
The old Phyllis,
the big bitch Phyllis that we like. But yeah, I did love their scene where she's looking at him like, don't say it, you know, because he's, of course, wakes up wondering what happened to Phyllis because he actually cares about her. But then they actually have to cover, and it's like, oh Bethany.
Are we going to find out, or is Jack going to find out that she was on the motorcycle at some point?
Yes.
Yes.
Hopefully next week.
Yeah, I kind of fear that Jack will start suspecting stuff, but he won't. I mean, being that it's his little brother that he loves so much and has sort of been always fatherly to, and his wife that is very loyal, except for like this little tryst. Yeah, except for this, you know, banging your brother. But the thing is, it's
on a sofa.
I think it's going to be found out the worst way possible. He's gonna catch them because that's how soaps do it. Yeah.
Or Bethany. I think that'll be her big plot twist.
Or Hillary. Yeah.
She'll
use that against them.
That's their blackmail. That's blackmail's a big profession.
A big thing.
Yeah. That's what Hillary does, and that there's a reason they keep forcing her into Jack's orbit. So she's gonna use this, like whether she's gonna blackmail Phyllis and Billy or just be his shoulder to cry on. Yeah.
Well, that whole press conference, though, like Jack, that was a big moment for Jack Abbott. Wouldn't Phyllis have been right by his side? So wouldn't that have been suspect number one?
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of said, "Where were you?" And she was like, "I was taking Uber motorcycle," but you know, that should be an Uber, right?
I know. I was like, they don't have that yet. I know they have Uber, you know, fancy cars.
Yeah, but
you know,
motorcycle,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Maybe
when she
too
was
much
in the
insurance.
park, they talked about that. She was like, "I'm over it," which I get.
But that's your husband and his big moment, though.
I know, but when Hillary comes in and shades you like that, enough is enough. Phyllis was like, "I'm out of here."
You were talking from experience. Did you see that look she just gave me?
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, I do love Hillary being this driving bitch force because this is interesting to see her do because, you know, that's sort of how she came on, but then she grew into as a person, but now is back to that, no, I want what's mine. And that is Devon's money.
I love the pause. Devon's money.
Yeah. But yeah, and like, you know, it's like, girl, you messing with the big dogs, Phyllis and Jill. And I love how Jill just shuts her down. And Phyllis will too. It's like, good, we've got some sparring partners. And it was getting a little, as much as I like her in Lily fighting, it was getting a little dull. Like,
but
let's see
when
something
is
new.
the last time we've seen Hillary in like a romantic scene?
Yeah, as much as she loves Devon, I mean, and they had that little bit of a moment, but it seemed really phony.
Yeah.
Very phony.
There's no sexual chemistry at all. She's
more
like,
of a spark.
"Where's my check for this week's allowance?"
Right.
And that's so not how they've been in the past. They've always had this great chemistry, this great love. So it's like, what's your deal, Hillary?
No, you see that twinkle in her eye with Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's a bigger check.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Devon's a billionaire.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And he's humble and
he's cute. Yeah. I was like, we love riding.
You guys think that Devon is cute?
I do. Like I said, I watched him when he was a child on Family Matters, and he was a cute little boy then.
Well, he's still like little and cute, but like Hillary's like she needs like
She's feisty.
She needs like Christian Grey in the bedroom, and Devon's like, "Can we watch, you know,
It
Sesame
just
Street?"
shows you the power of money.
I'll get my checkbook right now.
Get your paper up, Alexander. Come on.
Can you imagine these guys' Tinder profiles?
Yeah.
Like that should be a whole website in itself, like what their profiles would look like.
Yeah, like Billy, I like to ride motorcycles, and I have 2 kids, and I had one that died. I'm sad guy, and I would like that. And I was like,
And I live in a mansion.
that got me.
Oh, I have to give a shout out to the props person. Billy went to having a coffee bar to having a full wine bar and a liquor bar. Did you notice that? I was like, I am going to your house, Billy. Well, for other reasons. I'll be there.
And we all know how I feel about Billy.
Yes.
I like how Kimberly Howard says in the chat that she wants to see Mariah with Devon. You know, I always thought that Abby had good chemistry with Devon. Let's see a Mariah, because also Mariah's the girl from the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah.
Like, him and Abby, they don't want to go with, but yeah.
we keep forgetting that Mariah was a bad girl herself, and I see her like she's churning up. She's got this secret now. She's got the power. So I think, to your point, you know, she could really get in all that.
Yeah, especially after Kevin made the wrong choice. And I'm super mad at you, Kevin. You know, you're one of my faves, you and your brother Michael, because I love to see you guys on more. But
that was a cute scene, by the way.
Yeah, it was cute. Natalie was slightly more likable in that scene, though. Like I will say,
and I didn't like her before.
Yeah, I really hated Natalie. You know, but she was like, oh no, she's your friend. But it's just, we'll see. This girl seems shady, in my opinion. Like there's something more there. And
well, like, she got the airplane to Chicago and blah, blah, blah. It's like, girl, don't try so hard.
I know.
Like, leave some mystery. Where do you go from that date?
Yeah.
I bought you the Empire State Building. Okay, maybe. And how bad you'd rather hang out with Mariah and, like, watch bad movies than go to Chicago?
See, that's love, though. I mean,
It is,
yeah.
but what happened?
I know, that's why I can't, and I think Kevin was really going to pick Mariah until she came in, and I was like, this is why I call you the Nat. Just like Phyllis used to call Christine the Bug.
I miss Christine.
Yeah. I know, we rarely see her, but it's like, she's not as great as she used to be, unfortunately. Her as the DA, she never wins.
Wait, what?
That was some shade. What do you think?
No, I'm not going to be shady.
No.
Okay, I'm going to be shady just for
Yeah.
a second. Natalie and Kevin's kiss.
It was awkward.
It was so awkward. I'm like, you're not kissing your grandmother. Open your lips. They were like this.
But her character seems a little juvenile to me. She's not fully
she's a wolf
evolved
in sheep's
as a
clothing.
Oh,
woman.
Yeah, I agree. Like, because I think this whole, like, innocent act is an act. Because there are times where it's like, yeah, we're supposed to believe that she's this sweet, innocent, just
Right.
like Asperger type girl that doesn't, I mean, you know, have
That's her
social
Tinder
skills.
profile.
You know? And then to me, it's just like you see that, and then you'll see times where it's like, yeah, like you said, wolf in sheep's clothing.
And she went over to Billy's house. She was dressed in a nerdy kind of schoolgirl outfit, but it was sexy at the same time. And I thought, you know. And she's like, oh, you want me to hack the computer, not your pants? Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine the gamers watching that and getting turned on.
She is a very cute girl.
She is.
That's my next Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Girl,
Sexy
you're wearing it
nerd.
right now. What are you talking about?
Hey.
Yeah, and I love people, they're like, no, keep Mariah with Kevin. They apparently don't want her with Devon, or Kevin doesn't deserve Mariah. And, like, I agree. That's why I'm like, let her have Devon for a while and then bring them back together. Since
But
I don't want
Devon. If he'll be left heartbroken again.
Well, poor Neil. But
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Can I just say, like, way to make the conference about yourself? Me, the queen of doing that? I was like, oh. Oh, okay.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, let's talk about Neil and his big announcement. Because, yeah, like, that was such an interesting press conference. I like that Victoria came up, but then just so Travis could see her. But the Neil is out. I was like, way to go, Neil. I love that. And, you know, it got him back on Lily's side. Like, you know, I liked that.
It did. I'm not going to get too much into that because there was some shade there that we're going to bring up a little bit later.
But it was all about him then. That press conference was like a wedding speech or a funeral eulogy where people that just kept coming up and saying, I was like, who next?
No, like, they just keep, you know, going on. I was like, this is like an old movie trope. Like, just keep going. You know, everyone's going to speak about, you know, rehab because there's so many drunks in Genoa City.
But I thought Jill was going to ban Hillary from coming up there.
Oh, yeah. I was
did.
surprised that
Eyes,
didn't
though.
happen.
She was like,
yeah.
I love that you say everybody's sober in Genoa City. That's why the bar's going broke.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Travis's problem. No one drinks anymore. And they're all going
Just
to this new
Jill.
rehab. Yeah.
Travis, the three of us will be there.
Yeah.
You'll have no problem
Tomorrow.
keeping your doors open.
And what did he need? $20,000?
$20,000 apparently. I was like, that's a lot of money to like keep up a bar. I mean, I'm not a business owner, so I don't know how this works. But it's like, and we know Victoria's just gonna write her little boy toy a check. Like,
I bet he's playing hard to get. Like, he's upset about it.
He can though, because because I'm ready to like make fun of his bad business skills. That the bar's $20,000 in debt, and then he just like looks at the camera. I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah, he's so cute. Yeah.
But he does this whole like Bernie Sanders speech about like the banks and being kept down by the 1%. I'm like,
And I was like, you're talking to the 1%. She's right there.
But I'm like, what does his business plan look like? Like, if somebody were to give you your $20,000 to get out of debt, would it be marketing? Would you do like a happy hour?
Well, this
maybe?
isn't Shark Tank, okay?
I'm like, you're going broke because Toria like doesn't ever pay for a drink, and then he goes to see her speech, and she's like, I just gave $5 million. He's like, girl, you can't even buy a drink at my bar.
Yeah, he thought she was poor. He would have been making her pay.
Right. Well, nobody pays.
But not in those clothes. She's not poor.
Oh, I know. That's like, buddy, he obviously doesn't know about fashion.
Do men notice, though, when women wear expensive clothes? I don't think you can tell the difference.
Not really, yeah. Like,
what? Well,
I think men do it, not just men of my persuasion. I think men notice when it looks nice and crisp and streamlined.
yeah, I guess, they'd notice more like a tailored look, put together. They would notice that much, but you can do that on a budget.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
New segment.
Yeah.
Genoa City on a budget.
And I love how Kimberly Howard said she loved Nikki being an adult and not crying and drinking at the conference.
I
did
that's
too.
a nice moment for her.
From a fashion standpoint, Nikki's hair is always on point every week, and it's different. I think she has her own stylist on the show.
Yeah, you said that before with that
the clothes.
magenta suit that she had on.
But her hair looked really cute, and it was appropriate for the event.
Yeah, I was so happy to see strong Nikki, because she's been, a lush, in the past couple months and a little bit here or there with Victor.
Hey.
I was like, yeah, we can't throw shade. But,
Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
but yeah, the thing is with, that's why I think that her and Neil may be starting to happen. We've got strong Nikki back, and Neil needs a friend, and Jack's busy with Phyllis, his brother. He's got all this other stuff going. So let Nikki be his shoulder.
Right,
Yeah.
but the way she's trying to come on to Neil and that whole, if you ever need anything, don't push the man back to the bottle. You saw he started looking at the wine the second she left. We don't need that negative energy.
That's really funny. It's like,
That's funny.
I'm going to need a few more glasses of this before.
Oh, that's so funny. Well,
Can we
maybe that'll
talk
be
about
everybody.
Shady Sharon making her entrance back?
Oh, God. Yeah, Sharon, I literally wrote, Sharon looks guilty in every scene.
I want to play poker with her because she'd be like, ah!
No, I commended her last week on her poker face. I think this week it's too much. It's too much to handle. She's on the verge of a breakdown.
Yeah, I think we're going to see crazy Sharon.
And I hate to say it, but I was like, Faith better stay out of mommy's business. She has no idea what Sharon's track record is when people get in her way.
I know, even her own daughter. Like, I couldn't believe how she was like, you shouldn't have been. And it was like, wait a minute. No,
it was
you're
a
like
little
yelling
much
at
for a
Mariah in the house.
child.
And her husband, no, she's a fat liar. She's grounded for a week. Like, it's like Max, but reversed.
Yeah.
Like, the parents going to do away with the kids.
It's like, calm down, Sharon. That's your child.
But she played like almost the whole week, like you said. Like you could just what? Like somebody said, "Can I have an extra glass of water?" Why?
Whoa, why, Sully? That's my
You said
child.
when she tripped.
Okay, that was my eye roll moment of the week when she walks in and they're talking about babies and fathers, and she's like, "Oh, low blood sugar, sweetie." I'm gonna use that excuse anytime I stumble in somewhere.
Yeah, low blood sugar, not wine. Yeah. Oh, Sharon. And that's the thing is like, I wish we had Frank's segment like we do on GH, get him to the ER stat. It doesn't make sense, since we don't have a hospital hardly on Genoa City. But yeah, but Sharon is a character that definitely needs saving, and not like with Dylan or not, you need to get your crap together. Like,
I agree, but she's been stronger in these last weeks, and that's the part I love.
Yeah.
Old Sharon was always the damsel in distress, but they're giving that role to Abby and Victoria. Sharon's strong right now.
Her scene with Chelsea was really good. She's like, "Am I here to work or what? Because I need some money." No, no. But then she really laid into Chelsea, and we got to see some of that strong energy. And it's like, yeah, girl, like get out of the house and like start being yourself,
Being proactive about it because it's about to crumble.
Yeah, I liked that up until the very end because the very end she went and flipped out. Like, no, I can't talk to Nick.
Chelsea,
I was like, this is great, this is good, Sharon. Oh, because she's like, yeah, I believe you're innocent, Adam, but screw you.
And you, Mr. Fashion, did you see that dress she had on at Chelsea's house? It was two-toned, a little
we will
cutout.
get to best and worst.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, she was a contender.
I know. I couldn't believe you didn't pick Chelsea's dress. Because we'll talk about it. Because, that dress...
There was a lot to choose from.
The cut on that dress was cute, but the pattern was hideous.
Yeah.
And the pattern sometimes can overshadow the cut.
Yeah.
And we know Chelsea's got a banging body. Like, we just know. Well, all the women do. I mean, let's just face it.
Everybody.
Can you imagine that wardrobe person? Like if they had a chunky extra? Like if I walk in there, they'll be like, you be the clown in the corner.
Yeah, nobody was ever big.
No.
Yeah, we had Tracy Abbott. It was,
Yeah, she was a little bigger.
Yeah.
What, like a size 4?
Well, I mean, and I know this is, a little bit mean, but they always called, Tracy on the show the ugly duckling compared to Ashley. And I was like, that's kind of mean. And I was like, no.
I like Tracy.
I know. We should see. She needs to come and
back.
straighten out her little brother, too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we need more Abbotts, less Newmans.
Less Lucas.
We need to give Ashley Abbott something to do, too.
Yeah, let's
get her
talk
out
about
that lab.
Yeah, it's like, let's talk about the brief Ashley moment.
It's like she's phoning it in. Like, we know she's got the chops. We know that she can be a contender. Why are they doing this?
Yeah, and where's Dr. Neville? Because I love that budding relationship between them. That's really sweet. I'm a big fan of Michael E. Knight. And so, yeah, like, I'm guessing maybe it's availability and he's just recurring. But still, like, let's see more of that. And like the Abby and Stitch baby drama, like he has a tumor now. Like I've seen that defense on social
I've seen it too.
But yeah,
didn't Ashley have a tumor not too long ago?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it'll probably tie into more Dr. Neville to get rid of it, like it did hers. But it was still like, let's not blame the tumor. This kid's got problems.
And talk about Abby's reaction to it. She took that news really well. Now, coming from a woman, if somebody purposely caused you to lose a baby, I don't care if it was a tumor or what. You are the bad child from now on.
Yeah, I think she was relieved that it was a tumor, so then it's not that Max is just that horrible. But at the same time, it was just a little odd how she was like, oh, he has a tumor.
Yeah, she was real composed, but I think she's going to blow up next week.
Oh, yeah.
I thought there was a little shade there. It's like, oh, he has a tumor, so that explains it? Like, he's not getting out of this. Like, he's still grounded.
Yeah, but it was too subtle.
Now they're going to have, like, a new wing. Abbott Foundation, the tumor wing. Dedicated for Max.
Oh.
No offense to people with tumors.
No, not at all, but...
No.
Yes, if you have a tumor, we're really sorry about that. But, yeah, it's not
no
really
excuse to push people down.
Yeah, exactly.
Stair.
Yeah, we'll need Diane Miller from GH to defend this kid in court over that. Yeah,
But that's actually a defense, though.
Yeah.
That is a defense.
It was on GH recently.
And it was on Law & Order SVU.
Yeah.
And that would be my eye roll moment
Yeah.
of the week.
Oh, and I guess we'll talk about Chelsea and Adam briefly because the thing with Adam being framed was just brought up a lot, but there wasn't really any movement in it. Like, that's what I thought was odd with this. Like, they mentioned it all throughout the week, but no movement.
And then coming to Sharon and then Nick asking for help. They're not on your side.
Why doesn't Nick just say, fine? I mean, the woman's dead.
Yeah.
They've already done it. The dirt's still loose. Like, if it was your loved one and somebody's life was at stake, would you let them exhume it again?
No.
Interesting.
No.
Well, and that's the thing is I do think, while Adam's not the best brother, at this point in his time that he has come back, he's really tried with Nick and Victoria, and like especially with the putting Victor behind bars, all this, they were together. So I don't really understand why Nick isn't helping him because he was Sage's friend. He knows this isn't true. He even said that. He's like, I don't believe this either. But at the same time, he's like, you're not helping him. Like, what's your it's not like you have any pressing matters, Nick.
Right. Yeah, I say no. Nick has a lot on his plate.
I will tell you though, the more like sultry and like downtrodden he gets, he's getting more and more handsome. And when they do
That's what we
flashbacks,
never talked about. Nick's always been handsome on my radar.
very handsome, but he's growing even like.
Yeah, I agree. He was way more attractive this week than I've ever thought he was. And I don't know if it's the haircut or what, but I was like, Nick is getting hot.
Well, no, back when he was rolling around in the stables with Phyllis back in the day, that's when he got on my radar.
But
that
he
was
was
pretty good.
cute-ish though, like with spiky hair, but like now he's becoming that man. And then when he did like that stupid little dance, I was like, oh my God, marry me.
Yeah, that was adorable. The daddy
really
dog.
cute.
And see, that's why I like his brother relationship with Dylan. Even though Dylan is banging his ex-wife, he's like, oh, I love you, Dylan, but screw Adam. Like,
and that's
it's
the thing
so nice,
I wanted to talk about, the camaraderie between those two. How do you do it when you're banging my ex-wife?
And they
Genoa
both
City.
And they both banged ABC, Avery Bailey Clark. I mean,
Well, and I tell you because Nick came in and he was wearing a polo and he's usually in a suit, and then Dylan was in a polo and they're sitting hunched over and their
It was like
arms
Step
are
Brothers.
folded. I'm like, what is happening right now?
It's a bro moment.
I was like, pause, let's take a break.
yes, because it was a hot scene. I love those bro moments.
So do I.
So I guess we'll move on to
On that note.
Nick's daughter. Like, yeah, because I was like, we can talk about how hot Nick and Dylan are all day long, but we're limited in time. So we'll talk about Nick's daughter, because I'm still not sure she's Phyllis's, Summer. And Luca, and they're moving in together.
Right, and I read the viewers are not happy about that.
No, that was me.
Including me.
Yeah, I mean, I did a poll, and literally 75% of people don't even like Luca. And
Yeah, he's not.
And just like I said, seeing him make out with Summer and then look at Victor's picture hanging on the wall, that got really creepy for me. I'm like,
Yeah, it was
okay, they're
gross.
grooming him to be the next Victor. I get it.
Well, and this was my theory, is like, she is so Nikki, who Nikki was when they first
Right.
kind of met. We know that Victor was a bad boy and he was dark and swarthy. They're Nikki and Victor 2.0. And so that was almost
like
a passing
it.
of the torch where he was looking at the picture of Victor. It's like, but doesn't Summer look like Nikki when Nikki was young?
She does,
They do
she
look a
does.
lot alike,
And
yeah.
when did Newman Enterprises get oil?
Yeah, I don't really understand what all they own. They own makeup, oil, like all this, and yeah, I was like the whole
PetSmart.
yeah.
And is Luca on the payroll? Like, why does he hang
yeah.
out there?
Like, why does Luca? How does he pay the bills?
Yeah.
How does Luca pay the bills?
He doesn't. He lives with Summer.
He's sponsored by Men's Warehouse.
Yeah. Because, yeah, it's just like, dude, like, you don't even have a job. Victoria doesn't like you, and no one at Newman likes you except for Summer, and she's nobody at the company right now.
Right.
But he's done a good job. I mean, he's weaseled his way, so much so that Victoria would lie in conjunction with him. I mean, that was a start. There was that telling moment where he put his hand out, and she was like, about to take it.
Right.
That's a glimpse into the future.
But
Yeah.
then Victoria, why are they playing her as if she can't handle a sex life, but also check her phone and
Yeah.
know when it's time to answer really important questions?
Yeah, I don't really like the direction, because I was really liking Victoria being the head of Newman and this Travis thing, but now they're making her look dumb, and Victoria is not
dumb
like,
at all.
Yeah. And
Never
it's-
been dumb.
Yeah, and the thing is like, Luca's playing everyone, and we get Summer, like, because she's young, too.
Right.
But, like, with Victoria, it's like, don't let him do that.
Yeah.
Like, you are your father's daughter.
It's that jawline, I'm telling you. You just stare at her, you're like, whatever you say. And then when Victoria was talking at the bar, and she's like, I've worked hard for this money, and I'm a hard worker. I'm like, when, girl? Like,
Right, when?
You can turn on your i5, by the way. P.S. Genoa City needs to bump up to the iPhone 6.
Yeah,
All of them.
6S, man. We got new phones, and
Family
y'all are all
plans.
rich.
Can you imagine that family plan? Oh, here's the Abbott's bill. Oh, here's the Newman's bill. Lord help us. So scared to be like, I'm on this family plan now. No, I'm on this one now. Forget it.
Wait,
Yeah.
with Phyllis?
Yes.
Yeah, you've got Phyllis and
I've got 4
Abby, all
phones.
these mixed, yeah.
That's how she called the
And
ambulance so
Hillary's
fast.
trying
Yeah.
to get in one. 'Cause that winner's plan.
Oh, but everybody has an iPad, by the way.
Yeah, they do. They do.
i5s, but iPads. There
Yeah.
you go. That's the compromise.
Oh, the city. And Paul is back, but
Bore.
yeah, that's the
snooze.
thing. Is like, you bless
Oh, you
Paul's heart.
guys.
I like Paul.
Yeah.
He's part of the foundation.
Yeah.
Like, he was there from day one. And back in the day, his family used to have the yearly holiday picnic where all the crap would like happen. So I'm a fan of Paul.
Yeah, I love Patty, and I love Stacey
I
Haydock's
love
Patty.
Patty, too.
And I also really love Corbin Burnson, so I'm like, come on, let's bring him back, as father.
Yeah, Paul needs
Yeah.
to be back with Christine. Those were his best
Well, they're
days.
together, but they just never show her. Yeah, it's like,
but we need that interaction.
Yeah, we need them, doing something. Because, yeah, her losing her baby last year was just like, again, I mean, they just keep repeating the same stuff with Paul. And now he's on the case, but even he and Dylan aren't really even working together on it. Like,
Yeah.
they're both investigating, but not even together.
Now that I think about it, with
Yeah.
Paul, my favorite storyline with him was when Eva Longoria was on the show.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing. So we need something spicy like that to come
Yeah,
back
maybe
in
he
Paul's
needs
life.
Marissa and Paul. Who was your
Or
yeah,
Dr.
yeah.
Daddy issues.
Yeah, exactly.
No, don't get crazy.
Yeah, I was like, Marissa is a little young, but yeah, Dr. Daddy issues might be a
That
fit.
might work.
Yeah. Plus, let's not break little Noah's heart. I love Noah, and I
do
wish we had
too.
more Noah.
I just put cute brother, his big beautiful eyes.
I know what's next for him. What can we do with Noah?
Yeah, I was so mad that they dropped him
Right,
and
right.
Marissa to recurring, because the thing is like, they actually are interesting.
They are.
They're very
It's like,
interesting.
let's see more of them. So, and a lot of it, maybe they're working other projects. I know for her, she is doing a new one on CW, but it's like, he doesn't have to be in scenes with her. He's Summer's brother and, Mariah's brother. We have all this
Nick's
family. Yeah,
child.
he's literally related to everyone.
Plus, the show does do a good job where you're focusing on a certain group of people, and then you're like, okay, like how far can we go with this? And then they kind of shift gears and then come back to it. So maybe it's
and I always wondered how they were going to tie Neil and his whole family into everything, but it worked. I didn't like Devon inheriting the money and being the millionaire or billionaire at first, but it kind of works now.
Yeah, it does, because it brings the Chancellors back in, you know, because we don't get to always see Jill, which sucks. We would rather see Jill and her husband Colin all the time, played by the lovely Tristan Rogers, which, where is he?
Right.
Yeah.
They were great.
It's like, I get Hong Kong is what Tristan told me is where Colin is, but hey, he can be in Genoa City.
Right, just for a day.
So I think that's it for this week's.
No.
You got another?
I did. Victoria and Billy's child needs a speaking role.
Yeah, Johnny is adorable.
He's so cute, but he was in that bed. He literally couldn't say anything. He was emoting all kind of emotions about throwing up, but I'm like, just say one word.
I love how he's like sick and thrown up in bed, and she's drunk, passed out on the sofa.
Couch.
Good mom.
Yeah.
She wakes up in this cute dress, like, let me go check on
She's
Johnny.
like, I look horrible. And she's slow-mo.
She looks so cute.
Can we talk about their truth or dare game? Like, that was cute.
Yeah, I actually really like the chemistry between Jason Thompson and Amelia Henley, and yeah, it's like I would actually be okay with them getting back together at some point if the Phyllis thing doesn't work out, because yeah, they seem so natural together, and yeah, that was a really cute scene. I almost forgot about it.
I thought they were going to make up and actually have sex.
Yeah, I honestly thought they were going to do it, and that's where it was going.
Yeah, but the fact that he only said that he was sleeping with Bethany and not Phyllis, like, no, I don't trust you all over
But
again.
he's not going to be able to say that, though.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like
but he was pressing her. Like, who are you sleeping with? Truth for truth.
And then he runs right to Phyllis after that.
Right. So how serious were you?
Yeah, like bring Victoria a croissant and like be cute the day after, but instead.
I know.
Hashtag can't trust him.
Yeah, that's the thing with Billy, is he's just so charming. That's why all the ladies throw themselves at him. I mean, even me, if I was in GC, I'd admit, I don't like a bad boy, but when it's played by Jason Thompson, I can't help it.
And you're down with being on the couch?
Like, yeah, why not? That's comfy couch, right?
I'll be in the driveway.
Yeah.
Like, I can't come in. Okay, let's check the mail while we're out here. My thing about Billy, like, I thought his acting was really good this week. I just put Billy needs tighter jeans.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that.
Tighter?
People. Tighter, because...
Yeah, he's got a nice butt.
No, I mean, but more than, like, he's a thin guy.
Yeah.
Like, let him wear his size.
Yeah, and what I like is now that Jason Thompson is playing Billy, they've canted it up. Now Johnny plays hockey, he mentions it, and see, I know Jason's an Edmonton Oilers fan because I've seen you at the Kings game when they play. But yeah,
I love that.
it's like,
Seen you at the Kings game.
I'm in the locker room.
Row 3.
I work for the Kings. But yeah, and I'm a big hockey fan, so I love any mention of that. So anytime, that's why, you know, I still have ingrained in my mind, there was when Jason was on GH with Greg Vaughn, who's now left Days, but they had a picture of them in bed with a Stanley Cup, and that's still always one of my favorite images.
True hockey fan.
But, I will always remember that.
Yeah, poor.
We're almost done.
I feel like some shade is coming.
I know, that's it. You know, we're going to get to our segments right now. Now, tell us the shadiest moment of the week.
Second week in a row, I forgot my sunglasses.
There was a lot of shade this week, too.
There was a lot of shade, but for whatever reason, I have to give it to a non-reoccurring person.
Whoa.
Which was the reporter.
Yes.
Yes.
So when Neil got the courage and he got up there and he was like, yeah, I had a relapse with alcohol. And then the reporter was like, does this have to do with your wife sleeping with your son and marrying him? I'm like, where did that come from?
That was hilarious. I was like,
so
burn.
And then Nikki had to get up there and save the day. It was shady. I love that reporter. We need to see more of him because he's asking the questions everybody wants to know.
I know, that was pretty funny because it's like, you're going to ask that at a press conference for a rehab? I'm like, you know the tone, dude. That's why Neil had to get up there and say he was checking himself in.
That was a TMZ moment.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just awesome. And look at his face, was like, huh?
Could we have just gotten Harvey to do it? It would have been funny. Or Harvey
That would've
Levin,
been
yeah.
really funny.
Because we got Yvette Nicole Brown playing a reporter. Let's get a real TMZ.
Right. Yeah, that was shady. So hopefully that reporter gets a contract.
Yeah. Well, I guess, and speaking of shade, how about the best and worst dressed of the week?
Okay, I will have to say, I almost picked Luca as best dressed.
Because he does dress well.
He does dress well. 3-piece, you know, and you it takes a certain man to be able to wear a three-piece and not look like the Joker. But I have to say, all of the men's suits this week were so on point. They were fitted well. They were appropriate for the scene, and they made everybody look sexy. So men's suits were all up. Best dress, and I'm a little surprised by this, second week in a row, is Victoria. With her black and white long dress skirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
not the yellow, right?
Yeah.
No. Doris Day going to the bar? No, that's all I could think about. I was like, pillow talk? No. No, but it fit her well again, and it made her seem like a very strong woman. They're letting her hair down. They're letting her kind of deal with her sexuality, and that dress just said it. That's black and white. I mean, those are power colors together, and it was spot on.
Yeah, and I think Amelia Hindley really soars in like monochrome. You know, she looks great. Yeah.
Yes. Worst dress? Oh God. It was almost Chelsea.
Yeah, we mentioned it.
In her like paint by numbers dress. But I have to say it was Sharon's blouse. That had like the rings here. It was that peach blouse. It looked like a notebook that was opened for business, or like something you made in home ec or safety pins. It wasn't cute to her figure. It just. You shouldn't, like, it looked like Frankenstein shirt.
What about
Sorry,
Jill's
Sharon.
tassels?
Well, yeah, those were pretty bad.
Yeah, but Jill's like a veteran. You almost can't go there because she's Jill. And she will call me with her, and her voice has turned into Catherine's voice, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
She'll call me like, what about my tassels? She was okay. I didn't like the ponytail, though. Jill Abbott would not have worn a ponytail to that big press conference.
No, she wouldn't have. I'm like, I'm a ponytail girl, but I'm like, down to earth, earthy kind. But Jill Abbott is not. She is a fashionista.
I love the tassels, by the way.
That
was on my list.
It was like Captain EO, The Wiz.
All right, and every time she hit a little shade, it just shook a little bit.
Bloody Mary.
Can I get a Bloody Mary?
Well, I guess that leads me to my winners and losers, since I'm, all about the shade, but I try to be nice too. And it was really hard to pick a winner this week because, it's just like everybody was down in the dumps, or, everything was going to crap. But I guess I have to go with Natalie or Bethany, because Bethany showed she was smart and knew it was gonna get her 10 million. And then Natalie, Kevin picked her.
10,000, right?
Yeah,
I'm like,
10,000.
10 million?
I was like, I'm like way, overselling it here. Billy's only at 10,000.
Right.
Yeah, the 10 million's Devon. And the loser, again, it was hard because there were so many this week. But, since I picked on Summer the last week, I'm going to give it to Phyllis because I love you, Phyllis, and I love Gina Togioni playing Phyllis. Great. But to just leave Billy like that was just, no.
That's a bullshit move.
Yeah.
At least she called for help.
Oh, come on. And she's at the gas station, like, I look good, mirror on the wall. Can I get some gum and some Diet Pepsi?
Oh, I'm on my way.
He could have been dead.
I know.
Wait, when Jack told Jill that there was an accident, and Jill was like, what's wrong? He said, there's been an accident. Naturally, you would say, Billy's been in an accident.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'll be there. How do you know where?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, there's only
We
one
gotta
hospital.
get into specifics. Come on, guys.
I know. It's just like, oh, Phyllis, I love you. Let's get back to caring about Billy and not leaving him in an accident. See?
But maybe she's just so scared in whichever direction she goes because she knows Jack's going to find out. Billy might work, not work. I think she's just scared and doesn't know where to run to at this point.
Yeah, Phyllis definitely is scared, and that I like to see that vulnerability in her, but it's got to come to head, and I feel like it's going to come out in the worst way, which I hate to see that happen to Phyllis and Jack's relationship, but I feel like her and Jack are destined, just like Billy and Victoria, but I like that they're mixing it up now.
Yeah, I feel like their relationship reached its peak already, so it's time for her to go explore with someone else. I don't know if Younger's the way to go. Maybe Victor.
And Jack hasn't always been a good boy either. We keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
I know. I almost picked Victor for banging Dr. Daddy issues. I'm like, see, I've had too much wine. I can't even talk. But it's like I almost picked him as the winner, but I was like, no, it's just still so gross.
Poor thing.
I know. It's like, bless her heart.
A for trying. It's like, they serve Viagra in jail? Like, is that what's happening?
Oh, don't be mean.
No, Victor's the man.
Yeah.
We know he doesn't need Viagra.
No. pumping them out. How many kids does he have now?
I was like, what? Adam, Victoria, Nick. Victor actually doesn't have that many kids, which is weird.
Yeah.
At least we see him, unlike Jack. So they're like, nope, they don't exist. Because
he does have a lot of grandkids. Can you imagine his personal assistant every Christmas is like, oh God.
Who do I have to put
all
on
these
here?
cards.
Yeah.
$5.
Yeah, Faith, Connor. Oh my God, how many of these kids?
What about Hillary and Victor? You think that could ever happen?
Honestly,
No.
I could see Hillary doing that.
I do too.
She would do anything.
When he gets out of
It could be
jail.
Katherine Chancellor. They're going to Zoom her and just be like, hey, what's up? That was in poor taste. I apologize to Katherine Chancellor and her family. I actually love that because you guys remember I'm a little bit way before then. I love that her character is still so strong that we're talking about her and remembering her legacy and that kind of feeling of nostalgia.
Great.
Yeah, that's the thing, is Katherine Chancellor is just such a big part of Genoa City, like even in death, that it is always brought up, and that's why I was glad that Jill spoke for the fans as well as Eric Brady,
Right.
Yeah.
About Billy's house, like ruining it.
And I feel for her.
Yeah.
It does not look like Catherine's house, and Catherine's house was such a nostalgic moment for a viewer. You just see it, and you relive every powerful clip that ever happened.
And with Esther bustling around in her outfit, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Esther, that brings me to news and gossip. Thanks for the segue.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, tickets go on sale tomorrow for Kate's Tea in Vancouver on July 17th. And Kate, of course, is Kate Linzer, a.k.a. Esther. And these events have benefited several different charities, such as the March of Dimes. And they always have great cast members like Christian LeBlanc, Sean Kerrigan. These are great events, and they pick different charities every time. So cool. And if they ever come to LA, we would love to be a part of Kate's Tea.
We would.
Definitely.
But cool. Also, congratulations to Hunter King, aka Summer Newman, who has been promoted to series regular on Life in Pieces, which is also on CBS, and it's a great comedy. You guys should check it out.
Funny.
Colin Hanks, James Brolin, like such a good cast. Yeah. Yeah, it's such a good show, but sadly that means that Hunter has been dropped to recurring on Y&R.
Which is strange, because now that she has this big storyline going with Luca and maybe, taking over Victoria and Newman Enterprises, I hope they don't replace her.
Yeah, to me...
They might have to, though, right?
Yeah, honestly, dropping her to recurring, I guess, and being that they're both on CBS, they'll probably work stuff out. I mean, this has gone on for soaps for years, because several people don't even live in LA, so they work things out. And to me, she is Summer, and she's such a great actress.
Yes.
We would like to see her. As much as we hate Summer sometimes, we love Hunter. And,
Her as an actress,
Yeah, we don't want to see her replaced unless they just absolutely have to. If her career skyrockets, because, she is fantastic. And I know her little sister, is Joey King, is just blowing up right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Big
Well,
time.
congratulations either way to her.
Yeah.
All right, and I guess that brings us to predictions as we wrap up.
Boom, boom, boom.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
That's the wine.
Yeah, I was like, I love that sound. All right, so Alexander, what do you think?
Oh,
What's
God.
going on?
I think we're going to find out that Victor really has been manipulating a lot. I think there's going to be a jailbreak soon because he needs to get out there. I think we played his jail storyline, and I think Ian's going to be a part of that. I think they're going to be jailbreakers together.
Yeah, I think they're going to be definitely like Prison Break here with Ian and Victor, brothers.
Shawshank Redemption.
Definitely. And Prison Break.
But they're not nearly as cute as Wentworth Miller and Dominic Purcell.
No.
Happy birthday, Wentworth, by the way.
Yes.
It was
It
this
was a few
week.
days ago, yeah.
I celebrated
I know.
Know this.
because I stalk him.
Well, yeah, he is my Captain Cold on my other show, who
Okay.
sadly bit at the dust in The Last Legends, but we'll not talk about that.
Like I said, my big prediction, it probably won't happen for a little while, but Hillary and Victor.
Yeah, that would be funny, and I do see the writing on the wall, because that's how she is. She loves power, and I know they called us out, and it's not money, it's power that she wants. And why not go back to the most powerful man in town? Because Jack is still second to Victor, no matter how much we
He
would
is.
rather
Jack is
see him
laid
on
back.
top. Yeah.
Like, he's just really laid back lately.
He seems like an easy guy to date.
Yeah, I love Jack Abbott. Like, I would say, he's such a nice, easygoing guy. He had his Playboy years, just like Billy is now.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, and that's the thing, is Billy really is a young Jack. And I think that's why Jack
Interesting.
gets so frustrated with him.
I love he opens his eyes and everybody's yelling at him. It's like, oh.
Yeah, but Jack
Never
was
mind,
always
coma.
like a powerful businessman. We need a few more power moves from Billy to say he's a
Yeah, Billy's
young
not the
Jack.
greatest businessman. He is a gambler.
I mean, and he has perfume samples right there in his living room. It's like, put that in a fault.
Yeah, well, to me, it's just like, I love that he went to Ashley a few weeks ago to ask her about it, but it's just like, Billy, I get you bought this to screw Victoria over, but it's just a matter of, you don't know how to deal with makeup and perfume and all this. But
Ashley just had a tumor.
Yeah.
You can't even buy jeans that fit. Slim fit, sweetie.
Yeah, you need it. Mm-hmm. It accentuates all your assets. You know?
Wah, wah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it. Or we can just talk about Jason Thompson forever for me.
Yeah,
But what's going to happen to him, though? Because he also he's got stuff going on.
Yeah, he does have a new baby, but, you know, luckily, you know, they live here, so that helps. You know, it's not like some of the other actors where they're like in Nashville or everywhere else. So I actually was disappointed in this week we didn't have enough Billy, but
Maybe the baby
Never
had
enough
had
Billy
a
for Lucretia.
yeah,
Cowlick gate. We didn't talk about Cowlick gate.
I know. Oh God.
Cowlick. Like I said, I don't think that a child should know what a cowlick is.
I barely knew. I was like,
I
is that a
barely
new
knew.
move in the dance club?
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
don't know.
I was like, what is that? Why should she know that? That sounds dirty.
And Sharon was like, Cowlick!
She just
genetic.
every scene she just flipped out.
Shady Sharon's back, but I love it.
Well, all right, guys. I guess that is it for the Restless wrap up. Since we do have to wrap, so Kiera, where can they keep up the conversation with you?
On all social media at Kiera Giavanni. That's Kiera Giav as in Victor ANNI.
How about you, Alexander?
Instagram and Twitter, On The Rocks On Air, and OnTheRocksRadioshow.com.
All right, guys, and you can, of course, always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one. And this Saturday, June 11th, I will be at the Comedy Store here in LA in the Belly Room at 10 p.m. And also catch me later on tonight's Preacher here at AfterBuzz TV.
Nice.
All right, thanks for watching, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.